name is a rather big surprise to a lot of people over the weekend. The Angels DFAing the veteran outfielder with $28 million left on the price tag. Tell us about this move, Mark.
Yeah, you know, a bit surprising, although maybe not so surprising. This is the third time the Angels have DFA'd a veteran player owed a lot of money. Or I guess it's the third time they've paid. They did it with Pujols last May. They paid Josh Hamilton about $26 million when the Rangers DFA'd him, and now Justin Upton is going to make $28 million this year, theoretically, to play for somebody else with the Angels paying the freight. So, it's not quite the Pablo Sandoval deal with the Red Sox where they let him go with over $48 million left on his deal. But Angels GM Perry Minasian said this situation was more about believing that Joe Adell and Brandon Marsh were ready to man those corner outfield spots than Upton himself. But that said, Upton missed a lot of games. He missed 73 games last year, 99 games in 2019, and he hasn't produced the way that he did in the years prior to that, a 713 OPS since the beginning of 2019. So the production wasn't there. The young players were off to a good start in spring, and they were feeling good about them. So rather than waste the roster spot on a guy they weren't planning on playing, they decided to let him walk.
Well, our theme since we've got back from the lockout has been the DH in both leagues. And I think if Justin Upton, where they had Pujols and they had a lot of other guys that were trying to fit in that DH spot in Anaheim, really didn't get him off his feet, so to speak. When you're scuffling, you need that little break. That position wasn't there. I think he's going to have a lot of suitors where he can still play a little bit of outfield, but he'll be able to take that time to DH and maybe get his feet on the ground and be able to get off. So he's going to have some opportunity.
Hey, he may even stay in the division. Look, I mean, Seattle's done a lot to add to their offensive profile, but what they lacked last year was a big thumping middle-of-the-order bat, the kind of guy that Justin Upton is.
A right-handed bat for the Astros?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, in and out of the DH spot.
Correa.
I mean, it's pretty clear that he's going to work someplace, but I think your point is well taken, Mark, that they like Joe Adell. They like Brandon Marsh a lot. They're the future, and the Angels are committing to those guys. And I don't know that this wouldn't even have been the case. Justin Upton had a big spring, so there were a lot of people up and, look at the spring numbers. He's had big spring numbers in the past, and spring numbers are spring numbers, especially in the Cactus League. Let's, slow the roll on how dare you trade a guy who had a big spring.
No,
they had their mind made up before that.
Yeah,
right?
This is one of those deals that this was done in the winter.
I think so, too.
It was done last season.
And I think the reason it wasn't done as a trade were two things. The lockout, so there's nothing going on. And also, like, spring training, they probably have been trying to make a deal for him for a while. But that $28 million price tag just made it impossible to do that.
Well, I will say this with the Angels, that Artie gives them an opportunity all the time. Even in a situation like this, he ate Pujols money. He's eating Upton money. He ate Hamilton money. I can't remember the left-hander that came to from Texas.
C.J. Wilson.
Wilson, he ate. If he's at the end of the leash, he's not afraid to eat that and say, let's go on.
True. That's true.
But it is time for that team to give some return to Artie. They got to get in the postseason.
One of the people who was affected by this, Mike Trout and Justin Upton are very close. And per Rhett Bollinger, who covers the Angels on MLB.com, Trout on Upton being DFA'd. Obviously, Justin was my guy. I played with him since he's been here. I got to be good friends with him. It's tough. I think he had a good spring. It is what it is. You've got some young guys coming up, and they had a good spring as well. But it's tough. And, I think that says it pretty well, as a matter of fact. So, what we have to mention now is I wonder if, since Justin Upton is on the move, if he's taken his practical joke kit with him, because he and Mike Trout, of course, teamed up on a good one at Harold's expense a number of spring trainings ago.
Yeah. So, more shocking, that or the MVP? When you see the whoa. Oh, got him. Albert, that's messed up. That boy Jay. That ain't even right. Oh my gosh, I got a bad hip. You saw how quick I moved though.
You went right to Justin. You knew exactly who did that.
Oh, no doubt. Those two were tight as thieves.
I got a bad hip, too. That's messed up.
See, and Mike is so nice. I was like, he didn't do that to me. Justin did.